Hello everyone, this is ICBs here, and today we are talking about the leaks for Assassin's Creed 4 Remake. And yeah, there is a lot of information going around and it's really difficult to make the heads and tails of the whole situation, but bear with me, we're going to go through with it one at a time. Now this tweet from the Hidden One tells you all you need to know about the upcoming Assassin's Creed 4 Remake, and technically all of this information is leaked, so you need to be taking this thing with a grain of salt. So without wasting too much time, I would just want to go through this list and just tell you what I think about each element. The remake removes the modern day and replaces them with more content in Edward's pirate era. Now, a lot of people have said that this is somewhat problematic, while other people saying that, hey, this is totally fine, and that Assassin's Creed 4's most boring parts were the modern day gameplay. And while I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment, it was really jarring to be put into the modern day. But yeah, like, you can't play Assassin's Creed 4 without first at least knowing a little bit about the modern days. So if there are people who have never played the original Assassin's Creed 4, they are going to be very lost whenever they play this remake that will not have any of this modern day gameplay. So this is going to be difficult. I'm looking forward to seeing how Ubisoft will tackle this problem, or they will just pretend the modern day doesn't even exist and it is just Edward being a pirate, and well, that's about it, because the end game kind of very much relies on the modern day gameplay somewhat. So yeah, like I at the same time I agree, yeah, the modern gameplay is very boring, but still some important things do happen in that mode of the game. So I don't think you can entirely remove it, but yeah, I will wait and see what Ubisoft has to say about that. Moving on, the gameplay will shift closer to the RPG style of the newer Assassin's Creed games. Loot and gear, stats for Edward, inventory system, combat leaning towards the RPG style rather than the choreographed combat of the original. And yeah, if you noticed, towards the beginning of this video, I had this tweet opened up for good reason. That's here we can see that Luke Stevens, he's a popular YouTuber, you may have heard of him. He's saying that, yeah, like the old style was kind of getting tiring and, people were constantly complaining about it. That's why Ubisoft changed it into 2017. And, I agree with him. But at the same time, yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with him. While I see where he's coming from, at the same time, you have to realize that it's getting to almost a decade, like at least 8 years since the modern era RPG games have come out since Assassin's Creed Origins. And I agree with Luke Stevens that it was getting tiring, that the whole choreographed scene with the combat, it was tiring. I was getting tired. And then when Assassin's Creed Origins came out, god damn it, it blew me away. Wow, it was amazing. I absolutely fell in love with that game. Amazing combat. Had such an amazing time playing that game and its combat system. The thing is, for someone like me and for players like me, we have spent like at least a couple hundred hours in each game, and that includes Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, Mirage, and now Shadows. Imagine that. And now if we go by even 100 hours per game stat, that's like 400 hours or 500 hours. Let's just say 400 hours for the sake of the argument. Those are a lot of hours to have spent with this modern day goddamn combat system that I am so utterly tired of. I need something different. And if Ubisoft chooses not to replace the original combat system, even though I've spent a lot of time playing the original games, I would still have fun, because it's been such a long time since I've played Assassin's Creed Unity, Syndicate 4 or 3 or 2. It's been such a long time since I've played those games, and playing that combat system would be relatively new for me, for someone like me who spent like 400 plus hours in the newer games, and that's a conservative estimate 400 hours to have spent with this modern day combat over gameplay. Like, this is the problem that most people have, and this is my take on it. Like, I wouldn't mind having either something completely different or the original combat system for this remake. So that's my take on it. But let me know what you guys think about that. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Moving on, it says that no loading screens when moving between ship and land. That is absolutely fine. Great quality of life improvement. Map will not be bigger, but islands will be filled with more activities and side content. That's also totally fine. It seems like a great improvement. Expected to include cut content from the original, like parts of Mary Reed's storyline that were dropped in 2013. Yes, so Ubisoft has not been very great when it comes to seeing women in video games and having women like take on a serious lead role, evident by their attitude whenever they were developing Assassin's Creed Origins, considering the people who were making Assassin's Creed Origins wanted Aya to be the main protagonist, and Ubisoft was like, no one wants to play a game with the female protagonist, so they had to shift towards Bayek, which I am eternally grateful for that misogynistic move by Ubisoft, because Bayek is my favorite assassin by far. So yeah, misogyny, but yeah, at the same time we got Bayek as a result of that. But at the same time, like going back to Assassin's Creed 2, and you're in that Ezio's mansion and you're seeing that ancient armor that's worn by Aya, which always indicated that by some time we will get a game that's dedicated to Aya, and Assassin's Creed Origins was always supposed to be that. So we never really got that thing because of the upper level misogyny from Ubisoft, which is a shame, but it's a complicated issue. Let me know your thoughts on that as well. But then again, if we're looking at this point more closely, it's not only Mary Reed's storyline. They were saying that some other content was also cut that will be part of this game, so that's really cool. Moving on to the next point, it says that it's not on the same big budget level as of Resident Evil 2 or Silent Hill 2, but more of a faithful reimagining with updates. So a lot of people have are discouraged by this point, but I am not, because if you're looking at the original Resident Evil 2 or Silent Hill 2 games, like those games are old. Like it seems like those games were released at the same time computers were being invented. Yes, I am exaggerating. That was supposed to be a joke, but those games are really old. And if we're looking at Assassin's Creed 4, it holds up even today. Yeah, I've played that game, not when it came out, but a few years after it came out, and that game was beautiful. It is still beautiful to this day. So there are things that I think that Ubisoft can reuse and salvage from the original games. So that's why maybe they're saying that maybe they're trying to manage people's expectations. I don't know, like maybe they're like really being truthful. They're like like they're putting together some horrible low effort thing, and they just want to throw it out there, and they're just like being truthful. Yeah, like don't expect Resident Evil 2 levels of a remake. But at the same time, the difference between games like Silent Hill 2 original and Silent Hill 2 remake is so vast that they had to do a lot of changes when it comes to graphics and even the story and gameplay. So I don't think that there will be a lot of differences between Assassin's Creed 4 and its remake, because these games are relatively modern. Moving on to the next point, uses Ubisoft's new annual pipeline engine, same as Assassin's Creed Shadows. And this is the point that I want to take some time talking about this thing, because I've heard people discuss and say that they're going to be taking Assassin's Creed 4 like whoop and throw it down into the same engine as Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is like the modern game engine developed by Ubisoft. And that for me is raising some red flags as well as some green flags. Green flags being that, yeah, the game is going to look really beautiful. And some of the red flags are that whenever you do something like that, there aren't a lot of things that you can salvage. Most of them being the cutscenes. And the cutscenes in Assassin's Creed 4 are really good. They are really well acted out. So I'm really curious how they're going to be doing that. And I wanted to show you guys this thing as an example, because this is a mod made by the fans who are taking the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and basically just throwing it in the GTA 4's Rage engine. So this is basically a game that was, I'm referring to San Andreas, released in 2004, and they're dropping it down into a game that was released in 2008, which is GTA 4. So yeah, this is the kind of thing that we can expect. So I'm just going to play the clip for you so you guys can see what it can potentially look like. This is essentially GTA San Andreas in the Rage engine. So yeah, if you're thinking that this doesn't look as good, just remember this is GTA 4, which was released in 2008, so which is like a really old game by today's standards. So yeah, the thing about this mod is that it can only run the gameplay, but whenever there is a cutscene, it crashes because it can't load those cutscenes in this engine. So I feel like, like this is a thing made by the fans. So I'm wondering if Ubisoft can get around this hurdle that fans haven't been able to do. That would be interesting to see, because yeah, like old game being thrown into a newer engine. I'm wondering if Ubisoft will be remaking the assets. I know that they're going to be let's just cover the last part. They will be reusing assets from Skull and Bones to cut cost, but it won't be obvious to players. So they will be doing that, but at the same time I'm wondering, like, will they update Edward Kenway and other characters' 3D models, and will that affect the performances delivered by actors at the time, because that's going to be really important. The last point being release window, currently targeted for early 2026, like March, though some sources think it could slip to late 2026. Yeah, like I think it totally depends how much work they're putting into this remake. If they're doing like the bare minimum, like just throwing this old game into a new engine and just updating some assets and some gameplay loops or whatever, they could be done with this remake in a very short amount of time. If they're releasing in likely around March, that could be something we can expect. But if there are delays, maybe we can hope there is something better in the oven. But those are the Assassin's Creed 4 remake leaks. And yeah, like this was a very ranty video from me, branching out to several other things, like the whole tangent about Assassin's Creed Origins. So yeah, like let me know what you guys think about this whole remake. I will prefer to hold my thoughts, not that I've held my thoughts in this video, but I will save my reservations until Ubisoft announces something officially, because then we will have proper confirmation. And if Ubisoft chooses to release a trailer, that would be something very interesting to see, because this isn't like something new. Like we've known that Ubisoft was working on a Assassin's Creed 4 remake for a long time. I think we knew about it last year. So this is something that's been in the oven for a very long time. And yeah, if they're going to be making changes to it, they've had a lot of time. Even if they release it next year March, they've had a lot of time to work on this remake. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, it's time for a goodbye.